Happy Saturday, everyone! Hello, and welcome to Wandering Society. I'm Simon at Wandering DM. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be the fates for our game of Scion today, which is our last of 2021. Where, if you haven't seen the tweets, we're taking a break until January, so we can rest, recharge, and prep the, for me anyway, prep the next arc of our journey. I have with me a cast of incredible players. I'll let them introduce themselves in a second. I would just like to thank our sponsors very quickly, beginning with Mage Hand Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements such as Dark Matter. If you've ever wanted to look at space fantasy that is both zany and action-packed, you should definitely check out Dark Matter. You should also check out Found Familiar if you're in need of good coffee, because hell, we all know we could use some. So check out Found Familiar at foundfamiliar.com. You can use code WanderingDM to get 10% off. And then, of course, as always, thank you to Artalsorian Games, the command for which doesn't seem to work right now, but you can check them out at artalsoriangames.com. They make a lot of the games that we've played here on the channel before, be it Witcher, Cyberpunk, or Castle Falkenstein, which is returning in a major format next year. And lastly, I would like to thank Roll20, the platform on which we play all of our game here on Wandering DM. Oh, Wandering Society, still using the old name. Without further ado, let's go and meet the cast for our game today. Beginning with the person to my right on the overlay, we'll start with Anino. Hi, how are you? Nope, not ready.
Never start with a Nino. What the hell? Hi, I am the aforementioned Nino. I use he, him pronouns, and in this game I play Eddie Kahele, who also uses he, him pronouns. He is the Scion of Sun Wukong, aka the Monkey King. He's the quiet, non-troublesome, and very fiscally poor member of the group here.
Next,
I always play two lies and a truth, but it's just a whole lot.
It's just lies today. Speaking of just lies, hi Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. I am Hannah, she, her, and in this game I play Kieran Kearney, he, him, Scion of Loki, the adorable, altruistic Scion of Loki, I might add.
We'll keep going in clockwise order, so that way we can end with our guest. So we'll move on to Hawkeye. Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm Hawkeye, or Kentucky Hawkeye. I go by he, him, and for those who require pronouns. And I also play Professor Finbaro Dubda, he, him as well. Scion of Ogma, and he is the rowdy, ribald, uncontrolled, unfettered member of the group. I figure if everyone else is doing it, I may as well.
Might as well just, let's all lie about who we are. This is what this game is about anyway. Next up, we have Lynn. Hi.
Hey, I'm Lynn, she, her, and I'm playing Dee, also she, her, daughter of Inari, and who, is just having a good time. Nothing troubling happened in the flashback session. She's just, here to have fun. Absolutely.
The flashback session was an absolute romp through a winter wonderland. And nothing bad happened at all, actually. You went to eat with your mom. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, we have our guest, Diana. Hi, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. I'm happy to finally get to meet the rest of the group officially with this character, Emis, who I'm playing today.
And speaking of being introduced to the rest of the group, let's just quickly recap what happened so far in our little story arc. So it all began on a ship cruising the Mediterranean Sea we have Emis and her group of friends who are on board this cruise, which is normally labeled as a luxury cruise, but as Emis learned, is sort of a front for a smuggling ring of cultural and religious artifacts that may or may not belong to certain, actual pantheons and stolen from the scions of other deities. Speaking with the crew, I say the crew, but there were also a couple of passengers, like the Barlows. Emis learned that, things are offloaded, and offloaded in like their last destination, but asking questions about any of this is ill-advised, as while she was dining with Captain Stefanidis, with her +1 ensign Simmons, her friends were attacked. I mean, they took care of themselves rather spectacularly, and nothing bad happened. At least not to the friends, but to the crew, well, they'll have to visit the infirmary for a time. The ship docked on the island of, where's my map? Because that's always what I forget to open. But as I frantically look for it, oh no, I believe it is this one. Of course I don't have, like, a name. In Malta. As the ship docked in Malta, and the boxes were offloaded to an old, dilapidated warehouse, the rest of the godlings caught wind of this smuggling ring, or at least caught wind that there could be a trace of the divine somewhere on the island, and so they teleported, as they are wont to do, halfway across the globe, and arrived just in the nick of time to see this warehouse being torn apart by the gale that was created by Emis, basically revealing this pile of containers and boxes and steel drums, some marked with places, and some marked with just a red and black symbol of a rooster. Emis met part of the group as they split up to investigate, and that's where we're going to pick up today. We find ourselves back on the docks, like I should say Dockside District more than anything. The warehouse is in shambles. You know it's only a question of time before the proper authorities are notified of what has happened. Now, the one thing I didn't have in my notes is when you all split up, who met with Emis already? I believe Kieran did. So was it everyone?
I think I did meet everyone. Yes,
Okay.
We just got introduced. We didn't go further than that.
Okay. So then, yeah, the 5 of you, well, 6 if we count Simmons, and soon to be a lot more once the friends come back from their like patrol of the area around. You find yourselves on this, Dockside District warehouse place in Malta. Everything around you is newish, except of course for the torn down building. You have yet to open any of the containers, any of the boxes, any of the drums, but that's where we're going to start. What do you do?
Shall we take a look inside?
Suppose we better move quickly before authorities start showing up.
Oh, yes. Of course. And do watch your step. I believe there's a bit of a mess in there.
As you say that, there is you hear the groaning of steel as like one of the beams that used to hold like a catwalk just lets go and falls and crashes on the floor.
Seeing that, I go ahead and pull the baseball bat out of the sling behind me so I can use it, if anything else, to hold it up as a shield in case anything else comes falling down.
Okay.
Wow, they certainly built this up to code.
Obviously.
I mean, maybe it was at some point.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't designed to go up against as highest storm winds as it just experienced, and I quickly just, to not waste any time, I head straight in to see what I'm especially interested in any of those boxes that have that weird symbol on them.
Same.
It's just weird how this whole came down. It's like some sort of centralized storm just happened right on this very, very spot.
Yes, very
What
strange.
are the odds?
Also very strange for super secret crime organizations to store their most prized and secretive goods in a completely condemned warehouse building that is liable to fall over at a strong gust of wind.
She has a point.
Amazing how wind
strange
shears
things.
can just happen out of nowhere like that, isn't it?
Quite.
So, do we know what we're looking for, or is it just surprise?
Well, I have a feeling that there is something very good in here. Something that I or you may be interested in. I do want to have a look.
I would probably go towards the first box that I get any kind of ping about any magical presence on or inside.
Well, one of the nice thing that your divine sense of anything magical does is that you only need to glance at something to know if it is or not magical. And the moment you look at all of these boxes and crates, none of them are magical per se. The black and red rooster, however, is. Each box that is tagged with that symbol, like the box itself, you don't feel magic, but the seal is magical.
Be careful, that might be some sort of rune or something like that.
Yeah, we've
Don't know
seen
if
one of
they-
those before.
Don't know if that's going to be to mark for tracking or if it's a protective seal or what, but we just need to be careful.
If I approach the box with the rooster on it, perhaps I can't tamper with the box. If I were to say, just kind of touch the box, does anything happen?
As you approach your hand to the box, maybe like within an inch, you can feel almost like static electricity and the smell of ozone, like that
Yeah.
fraction of a second before a storm erupts.
Well, I was going to say we could just move these and get them out of here and search them later, but that doesn't appear to be an issue, an option. Does anybody know how to, do away with these little pesky symbols?
don't know of any
Well-
way to remove something like that. And as I'm speaking, I'm going to extend the bat, and I'm actually going to touch the rooster symbol with the baseball bat.
He's gonna wince, just kind of like wince. Because you remember last time someone touched a seal.
I'm gonna ask a question, because I am nothing if not a generous GM. How far away is everyone from Finbar? Or how close?
How
He
close
visibly steps away from Finbar.
How close is Emus to Finbar?
I'm probably pretty close. I'm
well-
probably right there.
Then that's where I am too, unfortunately.
Eddie took a few steps back because he pulled out his weapon and converted it into a bow staff and was about to give a box a snap before Finbar.
Finbar, be careful.
I am being.
Well, the moment the club, the moment the shillelagh touches the symbol, there is an audible crack in the air, and you see from this little rooster symbol, the eye turns bright red, and you are suddenly engulfed. You and, unfortunately, anyone within more or less arm's reach of you, engulfed in a gout of flame. I'm going to ask everyone what your dexterity is. I only need the number of points, or basically I don't need to know necessarily. The number of points you have in dex lowers the damage you're going to take by however much dex you have, right?
2 for me.
Okay, the damage is 1. 1 damage. So anyone that has 1 dex or more, y'all are safe. Probably because you were already on edge, or maybe because you have divine reflexes, or maybe because this trap rolled 4 1s out of 9 dice. But the moment the flame erupts, and it probably has reached like half of your shillelagh before you all jump out of the way and see just this sort of swirl of fire come out of the rooster's beak and then stop. There's a bit of smoke still coming out from the stamp, and you notice now the stamp, instead of being red and black, is completely blackened.
Well, we know those are for security now. Now the question is, I don't think I want to take a chance to see if the being all black means that it's used its charge or not.
I can. I mean, is this magical fire or is this regular fire?
Well, you haven't been burnt by it yet.
Comforting.
Only one way to find out. here.
Comforting.
So the one thing that you would like, let's assume things for a second. It's only been detected by someone who can see magic. So the source of it is magical.
Never know until you try.
Yeah.
Gonna try and open this.
The one with the burnt out symbol, or
Yes.
Okay. It's a so this one is a like a shipping crate. So we're talking like wood, pretty much all of it. There are no cracks between the planks or anything, and of course the top is like sealed just like the rest of the box. You would need like either a crowbar or a little bit of strength to pry it open.
That's fine. I've got a. I take out my key and turn it into a crowbar. Strength is the problem, though.
I'll
Here's
help
the
you out
thing.
with that.
The key doesn't turn into a crowbar. The key turns
just
into a
looks like
crowbar
one.
for everyone looking at it, but it still is a key. Remember, it's an illusion.
So
Are there any
I can't
crowbars
actually use
around?
it. Ah,
You can
Do I see
pretend
any
you
pr-
use it. You're using it, and
No,
if
no.
everyone believes it, it works. The problem is the box. The box would need to believe that you have a crowbar.
Do I see any crowbars or pry bars here in this building within sight?
Now that it's been wrecked thoroughly, there might be tools somewhere under the wreckage.
Actually, I think I can take care of this. And Eddie is just going to look around for like a metal, like a handrail or something.
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll grab one that's reasonably Kieran sized, and he'll just do this at Kieran. Might be able to lift this, and he'll just grab maybe a 2-foot bar and straighten it out using his strength. Maybe sharpen it up a little bit at one end, and
I'll
he'll
look
fake
for an
throwing
actual.
it at Kieran.
While he does that, I'll look for an actual crowbar so we can open more than one at a time.
I figure by the time Eddie is done fashioning a crowbar, or at least something along the lines of, you can find there's like you manage to look around the wreckage a bit, in places where you don't have to lift an entire wall. And yes, there was some sort of like old tool shed inside the like a tool closet or something inside the warehouse itself. And in there was at least a crowbar. There's also a shovel that seems to still be like in one piece.
I'll keep it within reach just in case, but I'll just grab the other pry bar, and I'll look for another second box to open. Hopefully on a side that there's not a rune on.
Okay, but are you looking for a box that has a rooster on it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So we'll start with Kieran. I want to know, just before Kieran goes and does his thing, what are Emis and D doing?
Emis is watching. Just watching, enjoying everybody figure this out.
D is going to take a long shot on one of the other crates that has the non-singed rooster, and she's just going to ask it, could you please deactivate for a few minutes? Otherwise, you're going to be sent away and stuck like this, and whoever did this to you isn't going to get whatever is in there. It's just going to stay there forever.
I don't get it. Deactivate. What's that mean?
Seal, if you can.
Seal? What's that?
Little magic rooster thing right there on your side.
Oh, I
Yeah, that
can't.
you can.
Is not part of me.
Oh, in that case, can you open the lid?
Yes.
Awesome.
So a lot of things are gonna happen.
She's just talking to this crate. Yeah.
Because. All right. So Kieran, you're opening another the same box that already spewed fire. But D is having another one open, and Finbar is also opening one from a different angle, and the whole shebang goes up in flames. All two of the three boxes are actually going to just shoot fire all over the place. However, as luck or fate would have it, you don't find yourselves facing any of these symbols, either by design or by happenstance.
No, I intentionally on the opposite
That's it.
side of where it is.
And as for Lynn,
I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
and D, same thing, ended up not being necessarily right in front of. But yes, every time a box with the symbol is opened or attempted there's an attempt to open it, it spews fire. It does so only once, and then the entire like stamp seems to almost like turn to ash or soot on it. Inside the box that you are opening, Kieran, is a ton of bubble wrap. And inside said bubble wrap, you find several like earthen jars. They look like the type of things you would see out of an archaeological dig, almost. Some are chipped, some are broken. On some of them, the paint has like caked and cracked. Some are still in good enough condition that you can like see the painting on it, or at least have a clear picture of what it is. So, judging by their look and whatever you can make out of the images, those seem to be related to like the Greek Olympics, because you have like those naked profile pictures of people either like wrestling. One of them was throwing a disc, and the others, while it's a little harder to see, you think there's like a crowd of people running. That's the type of thing that, you know, should probably be in a Greek museum somewhere. However, it's in this crate. And, of course, it doesn't have any address marked on it. It doesn't have any destination. And it was trapped rather magically. None of the content of that box, like with your divine smell, doesn't smell anything. The one that Dee opened up, inside is a collection of like softball-sized golden orbs. There are 16 of them. They're all wrapped individually, but they all smell. And yep.
I think we have something here. Wow, there's a lot of them in here.
What you got over there?
Gold baubles, some sort, about this big. Recent magic.
Gold bubbles. All I got is some old pottery.
I mean, there's probably lots of things in these things. I'm not entirely sure exactly what we're looking for, but...
Well, the pottery is very beautiful. And it certainly shouldn't be here. Good job, Kieran. Dee, that is interesting. It has a sort of scent to it.
It actually smells strongly of incense.
Mm-hmm.
And each of these orbs hum when you hold them.
Dee's noticed some pattern with things that are important, that have... She'll hold one up and just like, are you there?
It doesn't answer.
All right, I think we have something here. No spirit in these things.
Oh, that's good. Maybe we can get these to another location so we can give it another look. I have a feeling people may be coming to check out what happened here soon.
As you say that, you also, as luck would have it, or bad luck would have it,
cool.
You begin to hear the sound of police sirens in the background.
Oh,
They're still far away, but you can hear them.
What do I find in my crate?
In the crate that you've opened, you find a actually it's several briefcases. All of them are embossed with the same like rooster logo. There's no color on it. Like they're black leather suitcases. But briefcases. But God, are they heavy. There's definitely some, like, if they're not empty, they're definitely not empty, and you feel like almost like they're like filled with, I don't know, filled to the brim with lead or something. Like they weigh a good like 10-15 pounds each. And they're briefcases that normally, you know, there's...
Are we talking attaché case type brief type of size?
Like, yep.
Or are we talking something bigger?
No, we're talking, I believe, attaché case.
Okay.
Size of, let me just very quickly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'll pull out as many of them as I can. How many of them are in there?
There were 8 in there.
8. Okay.
Dee's just gonna start dumping the baubles into her rolling bag as fast as she can.
All right.
While this is happening and everybody's gathering the things that they've found, I kind of want to just like step around the floor of this warehouse. And are my friends like arriving back around now?
Yeah.
Are they like kind of nearby again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a smile and a wave, and I just kind of walk the floor of this warehouse and like dangle my fingers behind me, and I want to use fertility to have like flowers and weeds come up through the floorboards of this place and sort of take it over.
It's, if you were in a meadow, it would be all cute to have all of these flowers sort of grow and bloom all at the same time. Here, they force their way out of the concrete and the steel. It's a testament to the strength of nature and of your control over it, that it's not just like dandelions that crop up or other like weeds. There are actual like local flora, field flowers, and the tall grass that just begins to break its way through. And the rest of you can clearly see wherever Emis is walking, there's just vegetation appearing. The biggest of which would be probably like a small sapling of an elm tree. Like it's like, you know, pinky wide, but still it grew, you know, to what would be the equivalent of maybe like 2 years. Like it's a 2-year-old tree that appeared in a matter of seconds.
Much better.
Is there any sort of truck or vehicle around here?
There are a few I mean, you're in a like warehouse district, if you will. So there are, of course, you know, like cube trucks. You're gonna find a few. There are, of course, like big 18-wheelers being, you know, filled with containers or whatnot for like local delivery around the island. Forklifts, you've got a few. So you depending on what you're looking for.
We'll look for, you know, the equivalent of a FedEx truck or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Eddie's just going to look around and say, hey, Dee, could you commandeer that FedEx truck? And I'm going to start loading some of these interesting crates into the truck. And, you know, Karen, maybe you should go out and meet those cops and delay them while we load up our stuff and get out.
You got it.
Tell them we're Interpol or some sort of United Nations in iniquities task force or something like that. That'll probably slow them down.
You don't think that'll cause more suspicion? I shouldn't just say that we're like a shipping company.
That would work too.
I do like the international spies idea, though. It has a bit more flavor.
Oh, you do?
I do. It's exciting.
It's better than international thieves sounding.
We're not thieves. These theoretically belong in a museum.
Yeah.
Works for
And-
Indiana Jones.
What part of the United Nations committee set up to help return these rare items back to where they belong?
All I'll say is
Yeah,
that
sure.
so far you've only stolen from museums, but okay.
That's the problem.
we
We're
didn't
balancing
steal.
we're balancing things back up.
I mean,
We're getting
three of
back-
us are
getting the things that belong.
Finbar and Mr. Fine,
Anyway.
maybe.
There's a
As I say that, I help Eddie in trying to get the
the
help
boxes and
start get things loaded up.
Are you only interested in those that are branded?
Yeah, I think in the interest
Or-
of time, Eddie's just going to focus on loading the branded
I-
stuff.
Finbar will grab some of the other ones just to make it look like we aren't just targeting those. That we're looking at the whole thing in general.
Yes, and my friends can help to push this along.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Darlings, be dears.
Yeah, and you'll see Eddie is just lifting 3 crates at a time, and heaving them
You
onto
miss
the.
claps.
Finbar would try to be manly and try to keep up, but after trying to lift 1 or 2 at a time, he would realize the futility. Just take 1 at a time and keep himself from injuring himself in the process. He's not as young as he used to be.
Yeah. Dee's just in front of just crouching in this FedEx vehicle and just like, all right, we need to make a special delivery. We have a limited amount of time, so if you could just start up, we can make this delivery, please.
Truck go vroom?
Yes.
Aha! And the engine begins
Oh,
to
boy.
roar.
Okay. Eddie, you driving?
Yeah. Well,
This one might be a handful, so just keep an eye out.
Eddie's just going to give it a good smack on the side. Yeah, we got this.
Yeah!
So, where are you all from?
I believe
Me,
she's
uh,
talking to you guys, not the truck.
I originate from the County Sligo, County Mayo area of Ireland. That's where my family comes from. The university I work with is out of Galway.
Los
Oh,
Angeles.
Why?
New York.
Oh, all of you from so far away. And how did you all find each other? However, very curious.
Fate, mostly.
Fate.
It was like a seminar of some sort. These guys were all like academics or something. I was just making a delivery.
Well, that's wonderful.
Professional engagement that became a little bit more involved than originally planned.
How about you?
Oh, I'm from here and there. I've been a bit of everywhere, really. My home is wherever my friends are. So, right now, it's here.
Oh, that's a very interesting worldview. As Eddie imbues the FedEx truck with his Chariot of the Gods boon.
Oh, it's like. Regardless of where we're from, we should probably hang on tight.
Yes, that sounds like sound advice, and I share that with my friends. Please grip tightly.
So, anybody know a good safe spot around here? Do we just go to another warehouse, or?
If any one of you has like access to Google Map.
Like I've got the island of the map of the island up right now.
Yeah, so there are a few places, of course, that you could hide. I mean, most of them, a good third of the island is just almost like a big city, right? There are places, though, on the other side of the island, which is not very far away from where you are, but there is an impressive Roman underground complex. That's, most of it is used for like tours, for tourists and all that. But it's a sprawling labyrinth underground.
So are we in the Valletta area right now?
You are in the Valletta area, yeah.
Okay.
So in this game, Fort St. Elmo doesn't exist. It's the warehouses.
Okay. All right.
Or
now
like,
I know exactly.
it used to exist at some point, but it got bulldozed.
Okay, I know exactly where we are then. Okay.
Yeah, and the catacombs are, so there's like middle of the island is this, I'm not gonna call it a mountain, but it's a very big hill. And so the catacombs are on the other side of the hill from where you are.
Yeah. St. Paul's Catacombs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Eddie will take off with the FedEx truck. He's going to be using his journey's purview to make it to whatever point that Finbar laid out on his Google map.
Finbar will pull up Google Maps and he'll find some areas around the St. Paul's Catacombs and say, "Here, this should get us plenty far away to give us plenty of places to try to find a place to hide."
I got a question, Godlings. This is like a FedEx truck, right?
Yeah.
Let's imagine, for our sake, it's a FedEx truck or a UPS truck. So who's riding shotgun, and who else is all crammed up in the back?
My friends are probably all in the back. They're wonderful and I love them, but they don't need seats.
They would never they would never dream to take up a seat if they could leave it for you.
Yes.
Well, Eddie's driving, and
yeah,
I would say make sure Eddie and Karen are up front. Finbar could ride in the back; he would have no problem with that.
there's the assistant seat. It's the person who is supposed to assist the FedEx driver in delivering packages while the FedEx driver takes a break in the truck, and that's where Karen is probably sitting. It's not very comfortable. It's maybe a handlebar and not much of a seatbelt.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
How many friends is this in this spec?
It better be a big truck.
I think that there were 5 with me, right?
Well,
six.
Your 5
Plus my brand
Five
new
regular
friend.
plus the new guy.
Yeah.
The new recruit, the rookie.
Yeah.
We had Peter,
Yes.
Mary, Lily, John, Wendy, and Simmons.
Yes. Oh, Simmons.
It's like crowded.
Did you have all that
right?
written
Go just
down?
by it. Yeah, I gave.
Did you have the?
Yeah, I gave you the names like last time we played.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, truck does go vroom vroom.
Oh yeah, vroom vroom. Except you don't hear that.
You
You hear
hear
the motor
some-
making
They're like, oh
strange
no.
sounds. The car is going to be a little disappointed that it doesn't get to drive a lot, because once you're past the edge of the city, then all of a sudden it's countryside, going up the hill, then going down the hill immediately, and you find yourselves in this city called This Island is Too Small. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. I cannot pronounce it, but I think it would be Halbajada or Halbajada. Something like that. Bajjada.
Okay.
Other side completely of the island. And of course, as you drive, even though you drive with Journey and it goes very quickly, like you still catch a glimpse of like the road signs that point to all the like different tourist attractions, and you easily find your way to the catacombs. Except there's one entrance, which is the public entrance, where you'd have to go, buy a ticket and do all the stuff. Otherwise, you can go up and around the block, if you will, and basically go through what would be the service entrance to these catacombs. And then once you're inside, once you're underground, you can go almost wherever you want. That said, so the friends can carry, let's say, 1 crate per 2 people. They're not necessarily, superhumanly strong. You will have to leave some of the boxes in the truck. My question would be then, do you leave a mix of, rooster and normal? Or do you leave just normal crates? Do you leave just rooster crates in the truck?
I would say leave the normal crates in there. Prioritize getting the rooster marked ones.
All right. Emus, what's your... How strong are you? Or actually, I'm not even going to ask the first question. Do you wish to bring a box yourself? Would Emus do that?
Instead of bringing a whole box, Emus is going to just grab one, like, single item, like one of those orbs probably, and hold it in her hands solo, kind of just toying with it as she walks. She will leave the box lifting to everyone else.
The orbs, I think, were all put in Dee's bag earlier. But
Okay.
we can definitely take another one, either one of the vases, one of the briefcases, or you could just, pick something at random from one of the other boxes.
Yeah, something at random feels like a good idea.
All right.
Any random item.
You will make it so that you don't open one of the boxes that's going to burn the truck down. Mm-hmm. Just, because.
Yes.
And let me grab the notes that I had on this one. So it's one of the steel drums. Easy to open. It's just like a little steel clasp. And you can lift the lid, put your hand in. They're not filled with liquid, by the way. So it's rather full of old clothes that would be donated. Of course, this is just a layer to hide, and as you put your hand in and just rummage around, you get out of it a little small bronze amulet.
Perfect.
It's on a leather string, and it looks like this pillar with another smaller pillar. It's an Egyptian representation of a thing called the Jed, which is sort of I think Amos has some points in culture, right?
Certainly, yes.
Okay. So then
yes.
you would know this is an ancient Egyptian representation of stability. And or a spinal cord.
Let's go with that. She will hold it. She will not put it on, but she will hold it.
And even when you grab it, you notice there's still on it a layer of sand that just falls off the moment you take it out of the.
That makes me very angry. And we're in like the middle of a city right now. Like there's people around.
Yeah, let me change the music because ocean waves, not so much. You're in the middle of a city, but it's not a very big city. If I let me Google Street View it. Cramped streets for sure. Like cars do not go in there. It's
Gotcha.
basically all pedestrian traffic for the most part. All around you are these. I guess they're like multiple apartments. In the older Arabic style of. I don't remember. They're not. I don't want to say Manala. I don't remember the name. But you know where it's they build it with whatever space, whatever room they had, and then had, it's like a sprawling labyrinth of houses. But some of them, the doors of these buildings, do not lead to an apartment. They actually lead to the catacombs. And so there might be people around. You don't see anyone walking down the street. You hear from farther away, like cheers of a crowd. So there must be like some sort of event nearby. And from time to time you hear a truck or a car driving by, but that would be like one city block away.
Okay.
You need football grounds.
I will keep my cool for now. But my friends probably notice me looking a little on edge.
In fact, Lily would, approach you. She's lifting a box with John, but like as she moves past you, she just turns to you and whispers, "Everything all right?"
Yes, darling. I'm feeling a bit tense. Might be time soon to play a little more. Not yet. Thank you, you dear thing.
You're welcome. And they make their way in, because this is probably some sort of, secret movement of boxes. Unless you're trying to make noise or to sound, like, to make it seem like you're movers or something, I would need to ask a Dex plus stealth check for everyone. The friends, of course, I won't roll for them. They'll succeed if you succeed. So I'm looking for a total of 6 successes among the entire group.
Dex plus stealth, you said?
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't see
subterfuge.
Subterfuge. Okay.
Oh, subterfuge. Oh my god.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
bad.
I was out.
No problem.
I was the same
Wrong
thing.
game.
Wait.
Wrong game.
Wrong game. All right. Let me see if I have
Okay.
everything right. 1, 2,
Let's
3,
see.
4,
Come
5,
on.
6, 7.
Go. Okay. Good. Good.
Ooh, okie dokie. What's a success on this? A 6 and up?
8 and up.
8 and up? All right, so then 2 successes, but they're both 10s.
Oh, then you get to re-roll them.
Oh, I do. Okay. You said 8, so
Yeah.
just the 2 10s.
Okay, so that's already 2. What about the others?
0 for me, unfortunately.
New
So
success.
for you,
2.
2 and 2. So that's 6 total. So yeah, you're fine. And Eddie would have probably added some to it. But yeah, we're good. no one comes to look for you. At some point, you did see a kid peek out from one of the nearby windows, but it's probably just curiosity. The kid is not going to, tell on you or anything. He just waves at all of you moving boxes. Probably used to seeing people come in and out of this entrance before. Once you're inside, the catacombs are cramped. The ceiling is low. It wasn't made for people that were necessarily taller than 6 feet. So whoever's very
A little
tall
cramped
among
for
you-
me.
Yeah,
A little cramped for me then.
going to be. Otherwise, you can make your way down the catacombs somewhat easily, mostly following in a single file. There are multiple wings, let's call them wings, to the catacomb complex. And the way the floor goes, you get the feeling that it's built on 2 different levels. One that's closer to the surface, which is probably where all the touristy stuff happens. And then another one further out, which every time you've, walked down a slope, you found yourselves facing a little rope with a sign that says, no admittance. Do you obey the sign?
In for a penny, in for a pound.
I don't know what that
Agreed.
expression means.
I think we ignore the sign.
We're in this far.
More of a suggestion, anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
So
already-
Eugene will lift the rope, let all of you through. As you walk down, any source of light that was used to light up the catacombs for visitors is absent in this place. You do see from time to time light bulbs on these almost portable torches, I guess, electrical torches, but there's nothing connecting them to anything. There probably is a generator that they bring on site when they need to, but it is not here at the moment. The air grows a little colder, a little damper. You don't feel anything magical, and aside from the objects that you are carrying, you do not feel anything divine. Though now that you're all cramped, and right before we go to a quick break, you would hear from the amulet, especially you, Emus, the sound of wind, of distant wind. It's not a gale, it's soft. It's almost like that one refreshing breeze that you're really hoping happens on a warm summer day. And also the smell of, that smell you have when you play in the sand for a whole day when you were younger? Yeah, exactly that. And it comes from the amulet, which, as a Scion, you would know this has potential. And we'll take our break on that. You find yourselves walking into a slightly larger wing of the catacomb, probably one that was used for, and mind you, we're talking Roman Republic and Roman Empire. So might have been used for either high-ranking soldiers or maybe aristocrats or local governors, because there's room between each of these sarcophagi. Whereas, earlier everything was more cramped. Everyone was basically lying down in a row, laid down in a row. Whereas now there's enough room that you could even slide one of the boxes in between two of the sarcophagi. Yeah, oof, words. But on that, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We're going to be right back to open up all of our freaky presents in a catacomb, because apparently this is Christmas now.
Yay!
Stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back. 3, a 2, a 1. Hello! We are in the catacombs. And I guess this song might be a little more fitting than Haunted House. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, just medium level of concern.
It's medium level of concern.
Yeah.
But you find all 11 of you in complete darkness. Because need I remind you, there is no light right now.
Well, I mean, we have enough people that we could pretend to be a tour, like a tour that got off, and we have so many people.
Quick, Kieran, light yourself on fire.
Oi!
Do not do that, Kieran.
Kieran's immune. It's fine. We just.
Yeah, but there's got to be a point. I don't just light myself on fire for fun.
It's dark.
Well, I could just... he pulls out his key and makes it into a flashlight.
Yeah.
Didn't we just establish that your flashlight, your key, is just an illusion?
Yeah, but it looks like
actually function.
Does it not light up?
If everyone believes that the key is a flashlight, then yes.
Believe it's a flashlight.
You'll take out her cell
Okay,
phone and
that's
just hold.
Yeah, I guess you can use your cell phone, but it's not as cool as, a person.
Yeah, it's not as useful as using your supernatural God-given light to, steal cars or, light up the darkness.
I mean, if the general consensus is fire, I can do fire.
Listen, vehicles should be proud of the fact that they're driven by a professional driver like myself.
You don't have to deal with them yelling about wanting to be driven all the time.
Yes, well.
Can I understand that it's very dark in here,
Very.
but can I, with the little bit of light being given off, do I feel like it is... Are we very well sealed down here? Like, is there... Like, does it look like the roof above us is pretty solid and sturdy?
It seemed... Well, it was at one point very sturdy. Hundreds of years ago when it was built. It might have been a little damaged with time, but right now, short of an act of the gods, it should hold.
What do you think? Do you think that we could stay down here for a while, provided we figured out how to light it a little better?
Would probably work.
I suppose, but you don't think this catacombs are, a little dingy to be calling a home?
Oh, well, not for long. Just, about a day or two while things happen up there.
I suppose it couldn't hurt.
Anyway, we should try to get some more light before we do anything further.
Well, I suppose I can work out on something. And Eddie is just going to use his cell phone because someone won't light themselves on fire for him, and go back into the truck to, grab one of the normal crates.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to, break it evenly into torch-like lengths and, drive them into the wall.
Every time you stick one into the wall, there's a little crack that just snakes its way up.
Hey, maybe we don't do that.
I'm sorry, I just don't know my own strengths
I mean,
sometimes.
that brings up a good point, though. Maybe it was cordoned off, not just to keep people do not enter, but do not enter because unstable.
We'll just have to be careful. Yeah, should we start investigating what we've been able to acquire here?
Do you light them up?
Yeah, we'll wrap some cloth, whatever. I'm sure there are some sorts of cloths around there in the normal crates, right?
Well, I mean, some of the barrels that were brought down also have like random articles of clothing in it, like they were being given away.
Oh, well, yeah. So we'll wrap the ends of that just to make the fires last a little longer, and he'll just gesture at the makeshift torches, and
Oh,
after
my
you,
lighter.
Kieran.
Pull out the lighter and light them up.
Well done.
There is now this like orangish light bathing the entire room. You notice that all of the sarcophagi have been opened and emptied. There are no dead left, no mementos, no nothing. This has all probably been carried away by like some archaeological team or another. Even the lids of these sarcophagi are, except for one that's been broken in like several pieces, probably because it was fragile or badly handled, but everything else is like stripped bare. You would notice in the light that the interior of some of these tombs have markings. Sometimes they're drawings, sometimes they're words. And in several instances, I would say like 80% of them, the words are in like these blocky Latin alphabet. So you, like anyone who reads or understands Latin could probably at least read the word or infer what the, like if there's a sentence or whatever in there. But otherwise, some also depict the Jewish menorah, and others have different drawings, like almost like little stick figures.
Yeah, Finbar would pull out the Bard app on the phone and so he to interpret for everybody what everything says.
Yeah, the little bard in your game finds itself in a similar tomb with like a stack of boxes next to him, like they appeared in the game. And as you tap like the different places, it tells you, well, here was buried blah 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 blah. Basically, it's an old burial ground for Phoenician. Actually, not Phoenician. The Phoenicians were moved away from the tombs by the Romans, who then used them to bury their own. Then, after the fall of the Roman Empire, in the 7th and possibly 8th century, they were still in use, where they buried notable members of society in there.
Oh, dear. Friends, what do you think? I feel like the people upstairs, it's just been so nice up there. So sunny and so bright and so happy. And I really think that they should have a bit of rain. Maybe a lot of rain. I don't know.
I mean,
What do you think?
Eugene is just confused. But Peter
Simmons is new.
Peter would turn to you and say, I feel like a storm, maybe?
A storm, yes. Do you think that we could stay down here and wait out a bit of a flood, perhaps?
What the hell?
I
It
mean, we are
depends how much of the
safe.
groundwater is going to come running down here.
No, hopefully. I mean, this is old, so hopefully not.
And judging
would
by
hope
what
anyway.
they're doing, and he points to both like the crates and the tombs, they don't seem to care about anyone but themselves.
Exactly my thoughts, darling. So wonderful. Well, I didn't expect to have so much of an audience. But I would like to bring a bit of rain to this city. And I want to start making it storm up above us.
The answer is yes, of course.
Thank you.
That's not a problem. I just need to look into the mechanics of it.
Yes, I believe I have to spend a legend. I have to spend, oh no, I'm looking at the wrong. I have to spend a legend to do it, and then intelligence plus science, I believe.
Yeah, that would be intellect and intelligence and science. And I think that is it. So
And spend that legend.
1 mile times your Scion. Yeah, so it would be like a 2 mile wide area.
That should be perfect.
And give me that roll.
Oh gosh, please make this real good. And this is 8s, correct?
8 and up, yeah. And
8
10
and up?
rerolls, yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 successes. No 10s though.
Oh, well, that's fairly good. It means it's going to rain, or whatever you're conjuring is going to take place repeatedly over 3 days. It's like it won't stop for 72 hours.
Good. Good.
It's from the underground. You can, and I'm addressing everyone else in the group because you, Emus, knows exactly what you just did. But for everyone else, you can hear the distant sound, like distant rumble of thunder. It's very faint because you are like, several dozen feet underground. But it's starting to rain.
And Emus looks enraged and delighted at the same time. Like she's just fully clenched and just in a contained moment in the center of this tomb.
Cool.
Kieran, do you think we should be a little concerned about what's going on?
I have no idea what's going on. Otherwise, I might be concerned.
Well, I mean, we always have our little escape hatch, but, this is,
I mean, so far she seems to be on our side, right?
No, but, I thought that morning was a little bit on the, weird side of things, but this is getting a little dangerous.
I mean, we might as well see it through. We're kind of stuck underground right now. There's not a bunch we can do.
Yeah, that's true. But we can always imbue a doorway and go back home.
What? Where?
We can't. He's just gonna gesture at a doorless doorway. Theoretically, just imbue that, couldn't we? Either that, or we imbue the back doors of the FedEx truck, and suddenly that becomes.
Can we do that?
Can I hear any of this?
I figure you probably can. I mean,
Actually, wait.
You're trying to
Unless-
whisper. I am assuming.
Oh
The
no,
walls
like, I
aren't
think
secure.
Kieran
No,
has
we-
I have
something. Kieran has that
complete
thing,
right?
privacy.
Oh.
Yeah.
You do.
I have
Okay.
complete privacy too.
Okay,
So,
okay.
So we.
yeah, so they have the
talking on
power
full
to
volume
exclude
if you
people
want.
if they don't
Just
want
like-
to.
Just checking.
Well, that means that you can see that they're talking, but you cannot hear a single word.
That's almost worse. More sketchy, maybe.
While they're having this conversation, Eugene would walk up to you, Emus. Like he hops off from one of the boxes he was sitting on, and walks up to you and asks, "Just so, I guess it's going to rain now.
It is raining.
What do we do during that time?"
We wait, and then we go up and we see how much they suffered.
Everybody like
Did we all hear suffer?
I am not being private at all.
Okay. Wait. Did she say
So
suffer?
you're wanting
I-
That's
people
what I heard.
To,
Yeah.
So you're wanting people to suffer from your rain.
Of course.
Wendy would add, "They deserve it." After what they did.
Oh,
And I pat her on the head.
What did these
give her a
people do
little
to
scritch.
deserve it?
They just
She
exist
beams like a child on Christmas.
by just existing, or is there some other extenuating factors going on here? As Finbar secretly thinks to himself, I wonder how much I'm going to be in fear for my own sake.
They are terrible. They are awful to each other and to everyone else. Just like the people on the ship and the people who built the warehouse and the people who stole these boxes full of precious items.
that's not us, right? We
No, we're helping.
No, darlings, you're my new friends. You're fine.
Okay. Oh man, Kieran, we're trending dangerously on that Mendoza line.
John would like raise a finger and be like, "It's not the first time, you know."
yeah, that's comforting. That's more comforting, in fact.
No. We do this and each time we get a little bit stronger and a little bit better and we gather more friends. Eventually,
Is this like friends in the sake of like Facebook friends or like Charles Manson type friends?
Or my friends. She looks at like objects.
Eugene,
Not them.
Eugene would like suddenly, like, epiphany, and oh no, she makes total sense.
yes, there it is.
Just yeah. So you see, everyone up there who has done something wrong is going to. It's like karma.
Yeah.
You're like karma, and he turns to you, Emis. You're like karma.
I hug him so tight and I pick him up and I
Okay,
give him a spin.
You don't even know these people up there. You've never met a single one of them. We didn't even talk to the police.
And I recommend that you don't.
Okay, what kind of karma? Just to know the line where things equals terrifying storm. Just to be sure that we don't cross this line.
Desecrating ancient symbols, stealing from the dead.
She's on some Old Testament shit.
Yeah, we've never done things. And she just looks at Eddie and Karen. Yeah, right?
Yeah, Eddie has a very complete neutral face on him all of a
Dee
sudden.
does not have a poker face to speak of.
No, we do none of that type of stuff. We've only helped you.
You've been so good, Kieran. In fact, if you weren't so special, I'd recommend taking you on as one of my friends. But
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you can still come if you want to, Wendy says. To you, Kieran.
You know, I'll take a rain check on that.
So just to
Did you just pun? You just pun?
very good.
so just to
What is going on here?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yes.
do not want to pry any more into this. It's before
Okay.
feelings happen. What did we steal? Or what did we liberate and not
Let's take a look and investigate what we actually have
and not incur
here.
karma to
Yo,
die?
what's over here?
Yeah. Let's do that, and then with the complete privacy thing, it's like, okay, let's do this as quick as possible.
Finbaro wants to take a look
Find-
at one of the rooster boxes and see if he can detect. Not that he would have the skill, but any way to deactivate whatever this rune is or whatever, or marking is.
Yeah, can you give me intellect and occult? And
Is there something we're looking for, Eddie?
Nothing in particular, but if there's anything that looks interesting, we should, group them up together into another box, and then, we're going to need to make a quick getaway because, I'm not so sure we should leave this stuff with her.
I get to re-roll a 10, right?
the Roll20 does it automatically.
It does automatically. Okay, I wasn't sure. I wanted
Yeah,
to
that's
make
why
sure.
you ended up rolling like 8 dice instead of
Okay.
7.
Instead of 7. Okay.
So the way to close it is this rooster is the symbol of a god. It's meant to be opened by that god
Yeah.
or anyone of its bloodline and no one else. And now that you've, scrutinized it a little more, you realize every time it goes off, it warns its owner
of course.
where it is. And so whoever that rooster is knows that you've opened at least 2 of these crates. 3 of
Right.
them, actually. As for, random looking and investigating the crates, they are for the most part cultural or religious artifacts from all around the world.
So not
You've
just
got
one
some-
pantheon, but many.
Oh yeah, you've got like, and some are, they don't even belong to like actual scions, as in it was gifted to someone and then lost or misplaced. You've got like Mongolian dolls. You have there's a set, even like the random clothes. Some of them are like sets of ancient, and by ancient I mean like 15th, 16th century Russian clothes. You've got a jewel encrusted scabbard for a dagger. You have in other places, in other boxes, old currency, like old coins going back thousands of years almost. Well, hundreds of years almost. No, thousands. The briefcases, the attaché case, they are filled with gold ingots.
Any kind of
Unmarked.
markings on them?
Unmarked gold ingots. So someone just, melted gold.
Eddie's just gonna look at the gold and just whisper to Finor, "Hey, are there any sort of like magical properties to this gold by any chance?"
Do I detect anything off the gold itself?
The only source of magic were the orbs and the amulet. The amulet.
Nothing coming up here. Looks like this is just gold that's been melted down from ore or from other things have been made and put into ingot form. The only thing I'm detecting is off that amulet on those orbs.
Yeah, what?
They're definitely giving me an Asian feel.
Yeah, what the hell are they?
Can I see one?
Yeah.
They kind of give off the smell and vibe of like India, Asia kind of area, South Asia, Southeastern Asia kind of feel.
Eddie's just going to lift one and see if it reacts to him at all.
The orb?
Yes.
It's heavy, but it's not just heavy as in the material. There's an emotional weight to them. And as you're, holding it up and pondering, what could this be? There is a single droplet of water that drips down from the ceiling onto the orb. Everyone else in the room, there's a couple droplets.
It looks like we're
Hey.
feeling some of the effects of your storm, it looks like.
Yeah, I thought this wasn't supposed to happen.
It's not. Can I tell if it is becoming an issue? Can I do have like an ability to like sense the weather, but I don't know if I'd be able to tell if it's affecting the ceiling.
I mean, you would sense that it's the storm you've created, but as for the ceiling, let's say cunning and culture.
Okay.
Or science, one of the two.
They're both the same, so I'll.
It's this thing.
It's okay. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Is that a 6 or a 9? Ah, dang. All right, 4 successes.
Your storm is particularly fierce, and it's not so much that this place is unstable, more so than whatever's above this place is getting flooded. And through, microscopic cracks that were, created over centuries, eventually the water starts to come down. So whatever's happening up top is of like monsoon level of rain.
Finbar quickly starts moving any of these boxes and artifacts to areas that aren't into places where they won't get tripped on or won't be sitting in any of this rainwash.
I was a little bit angry, friends.
So it appears.
Oh yeah.
Let's make sure that we keep this stuff safe. We owe it to the artifacts, if not the creators who made them.
I mean, I should go for everyone here, right? Also?
That too.
Yes. Friends, you better get somewhere drier.
Yeah, the water begins to drip just a little more regularly now.
What are we gonna? Do we need to go up or do we need to go down?
Yeah, which way?
Up
Which way?
will
we need to
not
go
be better.
Oh,
Yeah, up is like
Up is not going to be the best option. I'm not sure if we're gonna how much ground.
They are
swell we're
not
gonna have
having a
on
good
underneath.
time up there.
I don't really want to go down neither. Seen enough horror
No,
films
no.
to know that's not a good idea.
Lily,
Do we do a little bit of
turns her-
traveling then?
Sorry, Lily
we-
turns her cell phone to you, and there's like helicopter footage of what's happening.
helicopters. Oh no.
It's the government of Malta declared like a state of emergency. It's a flash flood that they call it. The island
This-
is not made for. It's made to if there's like a tidal wave, a tsunami, they can like somewhat handle that, but the rain's coming from above, not from the sides, and there is a lot of it. Actually, you would notice that the streets of the little town you're in fact, you know that FedEx truck you were in? You see it
floating down the street.
Yeah, float down.
3 days of rain is a lot of rain.
Oh, there goes our way out.
Oh, ooh.
All right, let's get this stuff gathered up and let's get out of here as quick as and get this stuff safe as quick as we can.
Look, we can't save all of this stuff. We better do some picking and choosing, and then we go home.
I already have the orbs.
Home.
You've got the orbs.
He emphasizes home.
Yeah.
Peter says, "It's okay. We'll take care of the rest of the stuff."
Finbar, just because he's been handling them, has the attaché cases.
Eddie's just gonna look through. Yeah.
Is there
One of
anything
the
else that's
crates.
giving off a glow other than the orbs and the amulet that Emus has?
No, that's what I said earlier. There's nothing
Okay.
else that is.
I
The
just
rest
wanted to
is
make
like
sure that
it has a cultural significance.
Yeah.
Cultural, but not magical.
Yeah.
Is
Hopefully-
there anything that's tied to the Monkey King by any chance, or at least the Chinese culture?
Yes. Let me check very quickly. You would have. Yeah, there is a it's a like bronze, let's call it a scroll case, that has like all of these papers furled up in them. When you looked at it like very quickly, just the case itself, you notice that it's written in like what would be the like old Cantonese. Or Mandarin, sorry. Old Mandarin.
Well, he will definitely take that.
Would there be anything of Celtic significance that Finbar would want to grab?
Strangely enough, there's nothing Celtic.
Okay, not surprising.
There's mostly
Because it looks like there's
looks
looks like the
nothing European.
yeah. I was going to say, it looks like most of this focus is not of this area, except for that Greek stuff that we saw. Everything else appears to be
Yeah.
further.
I should say there's nothing like
East.
North Europe.
Yeah. All right, he'll just grab the attaché cases then, since he's been carrying those around all this time. Just out of reflex, he grabs those.
Yeah, you can grab like a few. Like I mean, there are 8 of them total. But
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna carry 8
He-
attaché cases.
He could probably carry 2 to 4.
Yeah, like try to grab them like you're bringing
Yeah.
the groceries.
Mhm.
Peter would turn to Emus and say, "Do you trust them with what they're about to do?"
Not entirely, but I trust that they will not desecrate them.
Can we hear this?
But
Yes, I am not hiding anything that I
Okay.
say. Yes.
yeah, you're the only ones with that weird power
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
social bubble.
This is not.
Hesitantly, we trust them.
We're just like you. We have total and complete respect for all of these types of things. We would never do anything that would be questionable with regards to these precious artifacts.
Our intention is preservation, not desecration.
Lily
Jump cut
still on
every
her
time.
phone goes, "Then why did you rob the Tokyo Museum?"
That wasn't me. It wasn't any of us.
Listen.
I
We've
have.
heard this before,
I have.
and I just want to say that we were in Niantic about an hour after those supposed robberies have. Who do you think we are that we could travel across the entire globe within a span of 1 hour?
I
I
don't
think that's
know,
just-
dear Eddie. How did you plan to get home today?
I'm very fast. I was going to run.
You were going
You
to say
see-
something, Anna?
I have a knack skill called "It Wasn't Me." When you do something with legal or social consequences, you delay the consequence by transferring blame to someone else of the same or lower tier. This delay lasts until the end of the session by default.
So who do you put the blame on?
Well, it was clearly another group of American tourists in Japan that were not us. You can see by the way that we've been helping you that we have nothing but respect for these kinds of things. Why would we do that? Why would we go into a museum where it's being perfectly preserved beneath glass and steal something like that? Take it out of an environment where it is being protected and take it to some place where it wasn't guaranteed that same protection.
Yeah. Besides, how do you know that the museum even had an actual claim of ownership for those items?
Oh, they don't.
We all know them.
And they are on my list as well.
You choose a suit of armor that's just shoved in the corner.
Your
Nothing
feet,
but respect.
Your feet begin to get wet. There's
shit.
a
Oh,
slight
okay.
layer of like a
Right,
half an inch of water that starts to drip down flow down the stair. Well, not the stairs, but the slope. Because
Are enjoying the good
we bought
times and the
pumps.
crack and all that. We need to get
We need
going.
to find a door.
Okay. Well, this was a lot of fun. I enjoy these social calls, and Eddie is just going to reach down and start pumping his shoes. But I believe it's time that we, parted ways. But Kieran, give her one of our cards.
I've only got the one. She can take a picture of it.
I have Wendy take a picture of it for me. Don't worry. You mentioned some American tourists crashing a museum. Maybe I'll pay them a visit next.
Good idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now,
I think
Speaking
they're
of-
from Portland. Yeah.
you never know. That necklace that you got there, do you have a safe place to keep that?
And she puts it on.
Yep, safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Safe as any.
Mm-hmm.
While they're talking, I'm already using one of my legend points to get the pathway open. While they're talking, it's like I don't want to waste any time. We got to get out of here before it floods out.
As he's doing that, Eddie's just going to start moving while his cloud walking shoes are activated. And he's going to gather up Kieran. He'll save Finbar for last, waiting for the door to get open, but he'll also try to catch a couple of the crates with the rooster symbols on them in his wake as he charges for the door.
Oh, so you're trying to blow the place up? Is that what you're
If
doing?
I touch it, that's what's going to happen.
Are you trying to carry the
I don't
crates or
suppose I
bust
can
the crates?
I mean,
Can
Yeah,
I try
were
to
you-
shove the crates through the portal?
Oh,
Why
okay.
don't I
thought-
just
thought
touch
you
the
were-
crates first, activate the fire, and then you can just pick them up?
Because you want to have a fire in a very, very tight space.
I mean, it's wet. A very, very tight, wet space.
wait.
Didn't you light yourself on fire in the middle of a rainstorm once?
Yeah.
I seem to recall this, and you were still on fire.
Okay, maybe we don't touch the crates
So,
then.
in the interest of time, we'll say you can definitely grab one of the marked crates. Without burning anything. Because moving the crate is not a
mean, we're-
problem, it's opening it.
Okay. I mean, Eddie is fast with his cloud walking shoes, so
Yeah, but where do you go?
we're done. Through the portal that Finbar is opening.
But if Finbar opens it, Finbar, you have to stay in the catacomb if someone's doing the back and forth. Because
No, I'm just grabbing one. I'm just
Okay, just the one. Yeah. So then the group,
yeah.
the group, grab what they can, and immediately just disappear through a doorway. John would turn to Emis. Should we follow them? Or should we keep an eye on them in the future? I don't think they're trustable.
I look up at the ceiling
Oh, it's a spider web of cracks.
I say, yes, go. Go!
And they go through the doorway, but they don't teleport. Because they're not Scions.
Oh.
And we'll end on this scene as, John, Wendy, Lily, Peter, and Eugene are, they all ran through a doorway. They turn to look behind them, thinking that something might have happened. And the catacomb crashed down on Emis, as the rest of the friends will probably try to claw their way out or run and outrun the sinkhole that's been created outside. These, this cramped cluster of adobe houses have begun to sink into the ground. The trees have been uprooted. Houses have been wrecked. There was a football stadium nearby. Mm-hmm. It's now an outdoors pool. We're gonna leave it on that.
So St. Agatha Football Grounds is now the St. Agatha Outdoor Swimming Facility?
The outdoor public swimming pool. But as you all teleport back to Niantic, to sunny and bright Niantic, there is just chaos and destruction on Malta to a degree that has been, so far, never seen on the island. The death toll will be in the thousands. And that's where we're gonna end this little story arc. This sort of foreshadowing of things to come. As you're starting to play with forces that, yeah. So welcome to your third legend point.
Cool. It only took a sacrifice of thousands for this method point.
Remember that cost as we spend those legend points from here on out.
Not our fault.
It's true.
Wasn't me.
Mechanically, it's not your fault. Or no one will think of it as.
That's the only thing that counts.
I think this is the first
It's
time.
true.
Yeah. I think this is the first time y'all have encountered a Scion that wasn't necessarily of the same mindset as you were.
Benevolent? Yeah.
What are you talking about? She's very benevolent
To her friends.
to her friends.
So,
As long as we remain friends, it's not. It'll be fine.
On that note, we're gonna do outros. We'll start with our guest, because I know you have to jet. So if you want to, Diana, tell us who you are, where we can find you, everything that you have going on. You can post all of your links in chat, and if you need to disconnect right after, do so. I'll fix the cams for the rest of the group.
Oh, that's
Don't
very
worry.
sweet. No, I am Super Dylan everywhere on the internet. If you find me, Super Dylan on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or superdylan.com even, and you can buy my games and see me play in games and do all that fun stuff and make jokes about games and yell at people on the internet. I do a lot of stuff. It's all right there. Super Dylan.
All right then. Well, thank you for coming. I know you have to jet. I hope
Yes.
I can see you again soon. And
Yes, I hope so too.
Thank you for being Emis and destroying an entire island.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, let me just fix the cams very.
Well, that cruise ship is gone. That too. Oh no.
Well, it's a ship. I mean, it's going to float.
Shit.
It'll float.
They'll be fine.
That's what lifeboats are for.
There's nowhere to go.
Well, yes, Malta is not very far off the coast of
Italy.
the rest of Europe, or Italy.
Yeah.
It's mostly the people that were living in this exact city that have suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Just when they get back home, Eddie is just going to take off his Monkey King shirt and wring it out the water and say, "Well, I'm glad that's over with." And yeah,
And
I'm pretty sure we'll never see her again.
Nope. But that's when Yoshi and Morning finally come back from Disneyland. So from one Scion to another.
We are just panicked and
One
like
problem to
lightly freaked out, and it's like, oh hey, came back from Disneyland. It's like, hey, yeah, hey,
Yeah, you're all like wet, covered in mud,
Mhm.
carrying boxes.
Hopefully
And,
not
the other
cursed.
edge of the field is just Morning and Yoshi.
And
with
Morning's got her
Mickey
Minnie Mouse ears,
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
what shreds of Gaston's costume that she was able to pull off of him as she was chasing him.
banned from Disneyland for.
And there's a, and the hats are inscribed with their names in cursive in the back. Just says
course.
Morning.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, players, regular players, thank you for coming. This was our 29th session.
Wow.
We'll be back in mid-January. The tentative date at the moment is the 15th of January. We'll post on Twitter and everything. But in the meantime, dear players, where can we find you? What do you have going on in your lives? And any projects that you want to shed light on? I am leaving the mic up to you. We'll do the same order as we did the intros, beginning with Eddie.
What? Hi, my name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino4K. I should be on the Other Doc channel tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time-ish or so for another edition of The Edge of Paradox, an Invisible Sun brunch campaign. Apart from that, I'll be pretty much chilling out for the rest of the month, helping Simon get the Wandering Society channel and our upcoming projects up in order. If you want to join our Discord server, we will be happy to extend an invitation. We stream stuff there occasionally and talk about upcoming games and that sort of thing. But I don't have anything else to plug, but you should definitely go over to Hannah's Etsy account and get yourself one of these awesome buddies. Dragon Age or Mass Effect buddies. They are a delight to have as a decoration, and just run true to size according to the pictures, and are not compatible with memory foam, sadly, but that's okay. Grab some polyfill. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, next up, Kieran.
I am Kieran. I am Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at Hanimation Art or on Instagram and Facebook at Hanimation Studios. And you can find me tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern over on the High Shelf Collective channel with Simon to play some Witcher for charity. Yay! Other than that, I think that's it for the rest of the year. Yeah?
All right, moving on to our second row. Finbar, where can we find you?
All right. When I'm not on here playing Finbar Dubda, you can find me on my channel. Monday nights, my daughter Bonnie and I do family night at the Emporium, where we're currently doing Hercule Poirot, the first cases. We've just solved one case of theft, and now we're about to be embroiled in a case where a bride is about to be pulled into some blackmail and all that, and we get to help Hercule Poirot try to solve this case. We do that on Monday nights. Tuesday is Grappler's Keep, my WWE 2K20 universe, where numbered DMs, GMs, and RPG players from across the Twitch universe compete in a ring that we lovingly call the Dice Tray. We are currently 3 weeks away from our next pay-per-view, The Joust, which is our version of WWE's Survivor Series. We have 4 Survivor Series matches going to be coming up on that, including one led by our own Simon the Wandering DM. He'll be leading a team up against Tall Squall's The Vice faction, as Simon is our current men's champion, he's our master of melee, so he'll be leading one of the teams. Hannah will be participating in one of the women's Survivor Series matches as well. She was specifically selected by one of the team captains for their team. So we'll be looking forward to seeing all that occur. I'll be leading my faction, the Cauldron, against Strength Save's faction, Strength Unlimited. And so, but between then, the next 3 weeks, we'll be having matches along the way to help see where everyone fits up in as far as their team rankings and stuff like that. Then on Wednesday nights is my weekly Skyrim serial, where I'm currently playing the random legacy of Zarzur Tinteroth. He is an ancient Falmer or snow elf who has returned to the land of his heritage and all that. He's just completed the Thieves Guild, and he's about to join, shall we say, a brotherhood of others. And all of his conversations that don't deal with the roleplay I have planned for him are decided by a roll of this D12. So that's why we call it the Random Legacy, and that is on Wednesday nights. Otherwise, I'm Cancer Cleric by day, RPG Fanboy by night.
And last but not least, D, where can we find you?
Hey, I'm Lynn. I am at it is, yes, Rimlin Art on Twitter and Twitch, place else now. I have my art there and what I'm playing, and you'll see me next for the next part of the year is on Fall Black Cats for Hexcrawl, our spy game campaign, where we have infiltrated Whitehall, the British police, and have a sniper on Big Ben. So nothing is going to go wrong. Everything's going to go smoothly, and there will not be an irrational incident. There probably will, but here's hoping.
And as for me, thank you once again, everyone, for coming. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you also to our affiliates, Die Hard Dice, which you can look into for your last-minute Christmas shopping, or holiday shopping, I should say. You can use code Writer's Block to get 10% off your order, in addition to any of the codes that are currently running for the holiday period on any dice set that you purchase. You can find me in 5 hours GMing a charity game of The Witcher for the Trevor Project over on High Shelf Collective. The tweets are already up on social media with the links and everything. We're doing it for the Trevor Project. We're raising money during this event called the 12 Days of Streaming, and as part of the charity, there will be multiple giveaways over the course of the game, and your donations will, of course, have an impact on the chaos that will ensue once the players realize what I've decided to make with this game. And that said, otherwise, you can find me tomorrow over on Praxagora Thesmophoria for the finale of Season 2 of Witcher's Roads Home, as we are looting the rest of the tower of Banard that I unfortunately destroyed. And thank you so much to Diana. Oh, you're in chat. Oh, hey. All my emotes are not working. What the hell? Thank you for coming, Diana. Thank you so much for being there. It was a blast to get to play with you after all these years of crossing paths. You're welcome back anytime. And that is it. I'll probably have some pop-up streams coming up in December whenever I'm bored. But otherwise, keep an eye out. 2022 is just around the corner, and with it, we have a slew of new shows. Thanks again for coming, everyone, for these 29 weeks. And we will be back in just 4, 5, 6 more of them. Bye-bye.